He tries will just die of overwork. So the best thing is that. So what am I looking at? Let's start first with, okay, I've explained to everybody now that this is the fastest adoption of any technology in all recorded history. So the chart you can see on the screen now shows that the internet, back in 1997, when it had 150 million users, was growing at 63% a year. 150 million users in crypto is present day, and it's growing at 113% a year. So this is why it's so hard for us all to catch up, because it's growing at a ridiculous pace. And it's only accelerating. I mean, we've seen in the last year alone the rise of DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, central bank digital currencies, stable coins, you know, in a way that none of us could have expected. It's just happened so fast at such scale. And that's only going to continue. And that's a core philosophy of the exponential age. How I look at this, to frame it simply, is this is currently a $2.5 trillion asset class. It is, if you compare the other asset classes, they're between 150 and 300 trillion until you get to derivatives, which are 1 quadrillion. And then when you get to FX, it's multiple quadrillions. So the reality is, if we continue this rate of adoption, we should get to an equivalent size asset class in these digital assets. And that would make them worth 200 trillion. We have never, in all of human history, been given an opportunity that an entire asset class, not a stock, not a single token, an entire asset class goes up 100x in value, probably by the end of this decade. So as I've talked about before, this is, I think, the largest distribution of wealth and fastest distribution of wealth in all recorded history. Because unlike most other wealth distributions, things like railroads, phones, even computers, and even the internet, they accrue to giant companies. This is accruing to tokens which anybody can participate in, because you can own a fraction of the token. So Bitcoin, as of today, is 60-something thousand. By the time this interview comes out, my guess is going to be a bit higher. But you can own a small fraction. You can have $10 in it. So everybody can participate in this, right? This is incredible. And this is why I'm so passionate about this space. Is I was driven on a mission after 2008 and 2012, the European crisis, to tell people about the risks and opportunities. I don't know, but the more I reread The Fourth Turning, the more prophetic the bloody book is. And it says that all institutions will get rebuilt from the ground up. We're rebuilding states, corporations, communities, money, store of value, economics, all at the same time, done by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, of the smartest people in the engineer, economists, finance guys, technologists, developers, mathematicians. Everybody is working on this. This is like, it's one of the most beautiful things I've seen, is mankind saying, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. And we will figure it out. And we don't know the answers. Everybody in the space, except the hardest core Maximus, said, we do not know the answers, but we're going to try our damnedest to see how far we can get. I love this. This is how it should be. This is one of the greatest movements I've ever seen, if not the greatest movement. Because it's political, it's economic, it's financial, it's cultural, it's everything, all rolled into one damn thing. And the market's splitting, the guys who are interested in DAOs and what we can do with that, the social tokens, the communities, the protocols, the DeFi guys, and we'll come on to some of these more, the layer ones, the transaction people, and everybody's going, right, we're going to solve this one. And we might fail, but those guys might learn something from us and they'll take the baton. But we're all sprinting as fast as we damn well can to create this opportunity. And this asset class is unstoppable because of its distributed nature of intelligence. The network effect of that power of intelligence and the sheer number of doggedly determined people doing things is unprecedented. We saw it with open source software. We saw it with the internet. But this has the powerful incentives built in that if you are a participant, you're not owning the equity in a company, you're owning a stake in the network, which never has happened before. So it is of a different order of magnitude. And still, I still people struggling to get across the line with Bitcoin or whatever it is, when actually we're hurtling into something much bigger. The other thing that made me think about this was NFTs. We've all seen the rise of NFTs. We all understand part of it's memes, part of it is communities, part of it's social identifiers, part of it's social identity. And I got that, and it's impossible to navigate. Right? Unless you're on Discord all day, I physically don't have the time. You know, I'm watching the Real Vision Bot guys. They're developing stuff, so I'm learning from them because they're two very smart guys. I'm learning from all sorts of people on NFTs. You know, again, Yatsu gave me some great feedback, and there's a whole bunch of people. I've been speaking to people like Bill Ty about this as well. NFTs are a cultural phenomena where people are organizing around these groups of like-minded people. And the NFT is the identifier. Some of it I don't quite like yet, because I think to be a CryptoPunk, it's now an elitist group, because you can't fractionalize these things. You can if you put them in a different structure, but basically you can't fractionalize a CryptoPunk, so you own it outright. So you're basically saying, I've spent $3.5 million on my JPEG, and therefore I'm one of this crowd, right? That's the same as me wearing a Cartier watch, saying, you know, I can afford a fancy watch. I kind of don't think it's the right thing for the space, but I don't care. Who am I to judge, right? This is what people want to do. You know, I buy social identifiers all the time. Everything we all do. My house is a social identifier. I mean, we're humans, right? This is what we do. So I don't really have a problem, but it's interesting. But I'm seeing really interesting stuff when we spoke to Gary Vee. He's trying to build a media company from the ground up, as is Aston Kushner, as is Mika Johnson. That was a fantastic underwatched interview with Mika Johnson about what Mika's doing with Aku, which is incredible. He's basically NFTing from the ground up a cartoon. So it's built on the blockchain and it turns into a whole media property. And he's already got TV rights or film rights for it. I think people now can understand what it is we're trying to do here. We're trying to understand this new world, the digital asset world, along with the macro world, because they are the same world. They're just different areas of it. It's as important to understand the gold market, the industrial commodities market, the currency market, or the crypto market. I just think that the crypto markets offer the biggest catalyst of change and the biggest opportunity. I have no idea where this is actually going. So what you're doing when you're watching me do this, or you do this, Ash, and all of the people we invite, we're just learning. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out the world's biggest opportunity so nobody can say, I didn't know. We want to give everybody the tools, democratize that information, and allow people to participate